Alright, just a quick disclaimer, real quick, before the video gets started. This is in no way me fear-mongering, sending out misinformation, or even lying, just simply lying, you feel me? It is simply me observing my surroundings, what is being put out into the world, reflecting on it, and you could even say, as if you want to go theorizing and taking educated guesses, alright? So I know YouTube does what it does, and whoever else does what they do, try to frame the video something else or take it down for this, that, and the third. I'm just telling you right now, if you want to look at it as theorizing, freedom of speech, observation, reflection. That's all it is. Quick disclaimer. Just want to get that out there before we hop to the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope all is well. I hope you're being safe. Hope you're happy. Hope you're healthy. Most importantly, I hope you're aware. Listen, I really don't have the biggest platform like on anything. Like, you always hear people say, you should be grateful, you have this amount of followers, you have these numbers. This is coming off of YouTube. On my YouTube, I have about 187, I think, right now, subscribers. It's not a lot, but that's close to 200 people. That's like 200 people that might just hear what I'm saying. I don't really pull in the same views as my subscribers, but it's enough. And I just feel as if people with the platform should be speaking out on the things that are going on around the world. Again, I don't have a crazy big platform, but I'm proving my point. I can't think in my head people with big platforms should be saying something and being proactive. Meanwhile, I have a platform and I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Again, I can't hold people accountable. As their platform, it's their business, it's their beliefs. They do as they please. But I can speak for myself and say something's got to be said. And plenty of people are saying it, okay, right? But I just feel like people with the bigger platform, bigger audience, should really be speaking on these things. I think you get the point, but what I'm trying to say is, I'm gonna say something, right? Okay, I'm gonna say something about our surroundings, our society, what's going on around you, and you know, some people just aren't in the know. So, people with the platform should be keeping people within the know. Again, I understand why some people don't. They don't want to touch touchy topics. They don't want to go there. They don't want to lose their audience. This, that, and the third. I get it. So I'm going to do what I can and speak on what I believe and how I feel. Because it's been on my mind heavy lately. And I feel like people have the right to know and to learn and to hear and to just be observant. You know what I mean? So without further ado, let's hop into it. Anyways, the list I have here is something I seen this years ago, like years ago. If I had to take a guess, I want to say maybe 2015, the earliest. But I think I definitely seen it in 2020. I seen like an old video. It looked like somebody on some type of, I don't want to say a base. I don't know where they're at, but it looked very like high security outdoors. They had this list hanging on the fence, right? And the person was kind of holding it. There might be a picture and a video of the same situation here. The dude takes it, he starts reading it. His camera's in and out of focus. I tried to find the video. I could not find the video anywhere. But it made enough rounds and news. I don't know if it really made the news, but it got around pretty much to where people made the list or like screenshot and copied the exact list pretty much. So this is old, kind of. This is like not new news, but with the way the world is working right now, things on this list are very prevalent, very real, and happening behind closed doors, in your face, and some just not at all. So we're gonna hop into the list, and again, I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm simply reading a list saying what I think about the list, comparing it to what's going on, reflecting, and going from there. So, first on the list. The title says New World Order. If you don't know what New World Order means, I can't sit here and give you a full definition. I'm not the, I don't know. I'm not. You got to go look that up for yourself. Usually it's not associated with good things. Like, I don't want to say at all. Who knows? There could be benefits to it. But usually it's, it gives dictatorship. Yeah, so if you don't know what New World Order means, it never really has a good meaning behind it. So go do your research on that. Anyway, it says UN Agenda 2030. Okay? Mission goals. First up on the list, we got one world government. Now, reading that, I think of all the nations, all the countries, all the continents being one government. I don't really know exactly what that means. Like, I hear it and, it makes sense. How would it work? I don't know. It sounds like unity in a way, right? In a way, but who knows? Next, one world cashless currency. This is happening right now, okay? One world cashless currency. There are places, I can't even say this, I didn't do my research too much on this, but I know there are places that are pushing for no cash. We already seen, what is it, the penny? The penny means nothing now, right? It's funny too, I just saw a video before I made this video about this dude talking about his professor saying, basically, we all say the dollar is a dollar, right? But if all of us came together and said the dollar is useless, there it goes, right? So anyways, when I read that line, I hear cash will mean nothing. It'll all be digital. That's what I'm hearing, and it'll all be one world currency. So a dollar here is the same as anywhere else. That's kind of how I read it. Again, I'm not telling you this is what it is. This is how I'm taking it. All right, next. One world central bank. I would say that goes back to the currency thing. One world currency. One world central bank. I'm sure people would understand this more than I do, but I see that as a one world bank. Everything comes in and out your pockets the same way and into another system as everybody else. That's how I'm taking it as. Now this one's interesting. One world military, right? Okay. Again, this sounds like the first one, one world government, and under the government there's the military. All the militaries in the world would be one. That sounds like peace, but if there's peace, then why would you need a military, right? Which, okay, hear me out. If there's a one world military, we're all the military on the planet, not average people, but the military, right, is one thing. So why do you need the military? What would they be going up against to make you a one world military? If the military is world, I keep saying the same thing. If the military is a one world thing, that makes you question what exactly we going up against to make us all one thing. You feel me? Like, I know I love aliens, and at this point, I'm starting to think aliens is a fiction as it's distracting, or maybe they're something else or spiritually, right? So just an example, just so it makes a little more sense. We as a planet are one world military against, I don't know, another planet. Because that's how I'm hearing it. Or, worse, I think this is worse. One world military means we, the military, control every person on this planet. All one goal, to keep y'all in line. I think that's worse. That's how I see it as. So that's interesting. Okay. Next. The end of national sovereignty. I should have did my research on this one. That is like very intriguing. Sadly, I'm gonna skip it. Y'all in the comments, if I get any comments or like anyone that can educate me on the word sovereignty, I feel like I need to delve deeper into that. Please let me know, because that right there, that just sounds scary. Okay. The end of all privately owned property. Now, when you hear Agenda 2030 going around, right? You always hear people saying, you better gear up, buy your land, buy your guns. Yeah, that's all going out the window. Supposedly, I've been hearing what that line means. You could go buy your own property on your land. They coming for that too. Like, they coming for that too. Okay, this is your area. You boxed into that area because we say so, or we just have owned property of it. You feel me? That's how I'm reading it, and that's how I'm hearing some people are saying it. Moving on. The end of family unit. I have no idea what that means. That can mean a shit ton of things. The end of the family unit. What? Like, what? What does that mean? Like, what? What are we talking about? The end of the family unit. You could take that and spin it 1,000 ways. I don't know what that means. Like, I can't even guess. Like, I seriously have no idea. Let me know what y'all think. Because who knows? Depopulation, control of population growth and population density. I feel like this is already prevalent. This has been happening forever. I feel like there's a lot of ways they're trying to keep the population down with let me see. Oh, China's an example. What's the number of, like, what's the max number of kids you could have? Like 2, 1? There's that. The food they're giving us is not good for us. Who knows what the chemtrails in the air is doing to everybody. So there's already stuff happening where they're trying to keep the population down. And I'm not saying I agree, but I see, like, yeah, there's a lot of fucking people on this planet, right? And we need some type of order. But the manipulation and the killing us off is crazy. So that's already that's always been like, hey, that's always been a thing. I just thought of something sick in my head. I'm not even gonna say it, but I'm sure it's happening somewhere. Next, mandatory multiple vaccines. Again, I'm not speaking any misinformation here. Let's just say I'm theorizing, even though it's probably true. COVID was a test run for that. We say y'all gotta get the shot or you can't do this, that, and the third. That happened. I know plenty of people who couldn't go back to work unless they got the vaccine and they took it. That's technically mandatory. Like, yeah, you could have said, I don't want it. Then you can't come back to work. There goes your livelihood. How do you make your money? That is crazy. Yeah, mandatory multiple vaccines, by the way, it says. Mandatory multiple vaccines. Listen, this is your body. This is like low-key, like, you have control over your life. Your soul and your being is the one thing you have control over. And for someone to tell you, you need to go and put this in your body is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. At the end of the day, if you don't feel like you need it, you don't need it. Like, a doctor tell you, hey, if you ain't not taking these, you're gonna die. You still have the choice to be like, well, I don't want it, I'm not taking it. If I die, I die. It's your choice. Mandatory. That's the word right there. Mandatory. Crazy. Next. Universal basic income. I'm not gonna lie. Don't know how that's pronounced. Austerity. I attempted it. Universal basic income. I don't know what that means. I want to be positive and say everybody gets an equal income. But that's kind of not positive, because you have some people out here that are working their asses off to get paid the same as somebody who's not. I don't know. That's interesting. Universal basic income. I have no idea what that can mean. I'm sure someone more educated could probably think of something for that. Next. This is crazy. Let me read it to myself real quick. Yeah, that's crazy. I was gonna say you want to kill me before I get to that point, but let's just say I didn't just say that. All right. Okay, let's read it. Microchip society for purchasing, traveling, tracking, and controlling. Oh wait, I think the next line continues. Implementation of world social. Oh no, we're gonna get to there. We're gonna get to there. Okay, back to the other thing. Microchip society for purchasing, traveling, tracking, and controlling. First off, the last word is crazy. Controlling is crazy, but we gonna backtrack. Okay, let's start off with microchip. I'm sure everybody thought of this or heard of this. You get a microchip in your hand or your head, right? Next word, society, for everybody. And it will be used for purchasing, so buying groceries, home supplies, whatever. Traveling, okay. You want to take a flight somewhere, you better have that chip. Tracking, you got the chip in you, we know where you're at all times. You ain't going nowhere without us knowing. And controlling. Now, when you read everything before that, that already seems pretty controlling. So what controlling exactly are y'all doing? Right? Okay. I feel like this is already being test run. I think there's stores already that have where you put your hand over the scanner and you could pay for stuff. That seems cool and like, oh shit, we advance, we in the future. Now, when you get to this, right? I feel like they already like doing this as a test run. On my watch, my Samsung watch, I could pay for anything with a simple tap of my wrist. Crazy. Same with your phone. You flip it, beep, boom, you paid for it. This is that, but literally integrated into your skin. On top of the fact that they could track you and like, yo, this is like some. I'm telling you right now, you already are low key living in a dystopian world, but it's getting to that point where it's like, why are we in a Black Mirror episode? Why are we in a Twilight Zone episode? Like it's getting out of hand. Like I'm reading that and it's like, now it doesn't say mandatory, it doesn't say it's a must, but when you put control in at the end of that and tracking, that's where it's like, yo, this is, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not going for it personally, but you're gonna find out. Next, implementation of world social credit system like China has. I did just a little bit of research on this. Okay, so I seen a video. By the way, I don't know how it's gonna work with copyright, but at the end of the video, I kind of want to have a collage of other videos on people touching on this topic and where it's happening at. But with copyright issues, we'll see. But I seen this woman, right? She's from China. They have social credit over there. So let's say your credits are low right now, right? I don't know how the point system and all that works. You want to buy apples? It's not money, it's a social credit. Let's just say you go to scan your apples to buy at the grocery store because you're hungry. The machine will say, beep, sorry, you cannot get these apples right now because you recently made a social media post that was prohibited or putting out false information. So you get your points or your credit system comes down, which allows you not to do certain things or allows you not to go into certain places. That's kind of how the woman worded it in her video. And she even said, I think it was her grandparent, again, this is me using my memory. I think her grandparent or her brother had to go out of their way to come to her to give her their social credit. That way she could afford apples. Or I even heard like even to get into certain places, you can't get into them without having this social credit. Like, Yo, what are we talking about? Like, what? Like that right there, that just makes my blood boil. It's definitely happening. Like it says like China has. Go search it up, do your research. I gotta do more research on it because that's scary, bro. That's like, okay. Yeah, that's making me mad right now. Next. Trillions of appliances hooked into the 5G monitoring system, Internet of Things. Okay, this one I heard of. I don't know if it's happening anywhere, but basically, what I've been hearing, or what people have been theorizing, however you want to put it, or what it's said to be, right? So let's say your town that you live in will have a big or a few, I don't know, like, what are they called? Let's just say like an internet tower, right? That tower would monitor every electronic in the area, right? And everything's hooked up to it. So your phone, your laptop, your TV, everything electric and, internet wise, I guess, would monitor what's going on in those, which is kind of like a thing now that you're kind of just admitting it. They'd monitor everything. I guess it'll go back to the World Social Credit thing where all that would keep is like a database of keeping that in the system to track what's going on, who's saying what, and who's doing. It's hard to explain, but I hear it's like a way of keeping people in check and keeping people within their restricted zones, which I think is further on the list that we'll get into. It's hard to explain. You really just gotta search it up for yourself. Like, it's hard to articulate the way I want to say it. Next is crazy. Government raised kids. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's a crazy line. You wouldn't be raising your kids. The government would? I don't know. Like, that's so vague. It could mean a lot of things. Like, it really could mean a lot of things. So, who knows what that is? But just that sentence alone is absolutely disturbing, in my opinion. Like, absolutely disturbing. Next, government owned and controlled schools, colleges, universities. This is kind of a thing now that they low-key do. They kind of dictate what's put into the education system and what they want you to learn. Yeah, obviously we all went to school, and by the time you're an adult and you get out of school, you realize a lot of this don't make sense. It's made up. You're learning stuff in school, and then you get outside of school, and a lot of stuff you don't learn doesn't apply to the outside world. Like, where was there was one class I did like in school though. It was I think it was like social. What was it called? I don't know, but we would talk about things that are going on in the world. And at the time when what was I, a senior at that point? No, I might have been a senior. I don't know. At the time, I'm like, this class is boring. But every now and then in the class, I was like intrigued, like to learn about social events and what was going on in the world. That was like the one class in school that I felt was pretty important. But like, yeah, you don't go to school, you don't learn about how to file your taxes, you don't learn about how to manage your money properly so government owned and controlled schools, who knows what they'll be teaching, what histories they're gonna rewrite and control, and what narrative they're gonna try to spin. So yeah, they're already doing it now low key. Next, the end of private transportation, owning cars, etc. This is crazy. All right. So this kind of goes back to the where was it? The 5G monitoring system, right? So let's say you get an electric car. We're gonna use Tesla because it's the most popular one. Anyways, you now have a Tesla. The government takes away. I got a Mustang, right? The government takes away my Mustang that runs on gas, and they replace it with the electric car. Right? Let's go back and read it. The end of private transportation, owning cars, etc. So now that you have an electric car that the government gave you, that car now tells you, or I don't know, I don't want to say this, but okay, how do I word this? That transportation is now the government's that you are technically borrowing or they're allowing you to use. So if you want to take your car back to the 5G monitoring system outside of your 5G monitoring system zone, that car will turn your ass back around and keep you within your zone, is what I'm hearing people say. Or it's very restricted on where you can go. So if that car gets you to work, that's where you're going, to work. After work, you're not stopping at the bar for a drink. You're going home and to work. You no longer have private transportation. It will all be tracked, it'll all be known. And you don't really own it. Like, yo, this is like, I'll be reading this and I'm like, yo, what are we doing? I don't mean we as in them, because they putting it out there. I mean we as a collective, as a people. What is going on? Like, we gotta, nah, I ain't settling for none of this. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. Next. All businesses owned by government/corporations. This could go many ways. To keep it brief and blunt, I guess if you have a privately owned business, that belongs to the government, or at least the money you're making goes towards the government. Again, we kind of got that now, but like, because like you gotta pay taxes and stuff like that. But I guess all like privately owned corporations or government will be under one thing. Wait, hold up. Did I read that right? All businesses. Yeah, all businesses. That's how I'm gonna take that. Moving on. The restriction of non-essential air travel. Okay. Again, these are pretty simple words, but these are big words. You could spin this many ways. The way I see it, they're restricting non-essential air travel. I'm guessing to them, you want to take a little trip to Florida, that's not essential. Keep your ass home. You've been restricted. And what? That's how I'm taking it as, right? That's how I take it as. I don't know how else to put it. The restriction of non-essential air travel sounds like if we don't deem it important, you're not getting on that plane. That's how I hear it. Going back to the whole you stay in your zone, in your lane, that's it. Personally, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah. And it's already hard enough now to take a little trip or vacation. Like, okay, next. Human beings. But the fact that you had to put human beings is already shady within itself. Human beings concentrated into human settlement zones, cities. I basically brought this up already. You are stuck where you are stuck. The last few things on the list, I'm like, yo, this sounds like a whole movie. Like, this cannot be real. Like, at all. Like, yo, I'm getting mad. Hey, if you were born in your town, you never leaving. You hear that, buddy? You're stuck. That's what that sounds like. Where you are at when this all drops is where you will stay. Next, y'all, next. The end of integration. That's very vague. That could go in many ways. The way I'm hearing it goes back to the you're where you're at, that's it. Somebody else is where they're at, that's it. There will be no integration of other societies, people. I don't know. Like, again, you could take that many ways. That's how I'm seeing. That's how I'm reading it. The end of integration. When in reality, we need more peace and unity, integration of just. I had to do a little prayer just saying, like, yo, please. None of this happened. I'm reading this, and I'll say it later. Next, the end of private farms and grazing livestock. I'm not too familiar with the word grazing. I'm guessing that's like I don't know, caretaking, growing your own food. I don't know. When I read the end of private farms and grazing livestock, it sounds like, yeah, you thought getting away from the city into the wilderness, into nature, and building your own little farm and food was gonna help you in this agenda. Oh no. That's gonna be put to an end too. That's what I'm reading. Yeah. Okay. Next, I don't know what this means either. The end of single family homes. My guess is, so like, you know, like a house, right? I don't know. Like, I don't know what this could mean. My guess is a single house, right? Enough of that. Everybody's going into apartment buildings. That's how I read it as. Am I right? I don't know. Again, I'm just using my brain and theorizing. Next, restricted land use that serves human needs. What? Restricted land use that serves human beings? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Like, what? I'm at a loss. Restricted land use that serves human needs. Yo, someone gotta come up with something for that. Because the sense, it ain't making sense. Last on the list, okay. The ban of natural, non-synthetic, and naturopathic medicine. Let's read that again. The ban of natural, non-synthetic drugs and naturopathic medicine. I hope I pronounced those words right. Sorry about that. Okay. Where was I at? Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna read it again. Pretty much that sounds like to me your homeopathic drugs and medicine is donezo. What we say you can take for your health is what we say you take for your health. That's how I read it as. I don't know. Okay, now that we read the list, what do I think? I think this is heavy. This is a lot. Like, this is deep. You feel me? This is a lot of control, and in my head I'm thinking, is this even possible? Like, is this even possible? Like, it's so detailed and precise that if you were to plan something like this, it can only go one of two ways, right? This is a very slow build, right? This would take, I'm talking about years. Like, the mission seems to be 2030. Is all that possible by, like, I don't know. This also has been, quote unquote, I don't want to say proven, but people have been saying it's false, it's not true, it's not happening. They just came out. I don't know what they were having a meeting about, but it was for the world to see. The dude literally whispered it and said it, like, it's coming. All this stuff has been said by billionaires and people in power that many things on this list are in the works or coming or being planned. So, but some of this stuff is like, is it possible? Now, here's the thing. It's definitely possible if we all give in and listen. And I don't understand what's wrong with people who just blindly follow and listen to anything. And then you have people who are just so like, I get it. There's a lot of distractions in the world, you know, and that's how they want it. And that's how they get you, right? But just listen and observe your surroundings. Think for a moment. What am I doing? What are they doing? And what are we doing as a whole? And you would see a lot of this stuff is in the works or happening already. And it's absolutely insane. So I'm praying to God none of this, again, a lot of it is happening already. I'm praying to God none of this comes to fruition. Like, this is insane. And I hope it'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll be doing YouTube in by 2030, but maybe I'll come back and I'll react to this list again just to see what happened and what didn't happen, and maybe I'll be able to laugh about it because this just sounds so silly. But this is no joke. This is not a game. This is ridiculous. Like, again, I'm not making this up here, right? This list is a thing. You go look it up. Majority of the list that you find when you search this up, it comes up the same. You pay attention to the news and stuff and things like that. They're telling you in your face. And like I said, this sounds like some dystopian future or episode of The Twilight Zone or Black Mirror. So that's why, like, I'm sitting back and I'm like, this can't be a real thing. Like, how would they pull this off? And that's what they want you to think, like. But again, slowly implement it, slowly make it normal, just keeping us distracted. That's how you're gonna get us, I'm telling you. And I pray that people wake up and realize, like, what's going on before it gets to this point. Because this list is insane. I'm telling you, it's insane. And there's probably people like me that, like, I shouldn't even be saying I'm not going for it because I'm gonna get put on some type of list. They probably want that too. They want people to speak out about it, especially on social media, because they probably making some type of list of, oh yeah, these are people who ain't going for it. These are people who are put them on a list for who knows what. But again, I have to speak my mind. I have to speak how I feel. I have to be honest with myself and others. Because knowing something and just standing by is just something I and many people can just cannot do. I'm telling you, I can't do it. I'm not about to learn some wild information and just have people around me like sitting like it's normal, right? And again, it's no fault to them. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're just not educating themselves. But that's where you come into play and you communicate. You open people's eyes and simply just have a conversation. Because things start with the conversation. That's all it takes is a conversation. We get to the point where it's about to be no more talking, right? Like, I don't know. I guess I'm rambling, but these are dark times, y'all. These are dark times. And what makes it worse is that they're telling us to our faces. Like, it's one thing to be conspiracy theorists, whatever it's called. It's one thing to be like, oh, what if, imagine, or they're doing this. But now it's to the point where it's in your face. And they laughing in your face because they telling you and you ain't doing shit about it. Like, again, in a way, some of these things sound kind of progressive, but some of these are wild, absolutely wild. So With that being said, I said what I had to say. I put this out here for people to hear, start a conversation. That's all I want to do on my YouTube channel. I put these videos up to have a conversation. So please, let's do that. Let's talk about it. Let's be aware. Let's be in the know and in contact with each other. Because it's simply not politics anymore. It's simply right versus wrong. And in your heart as a human being, you should know what's right and what's wrong. Again, I said I'm rambling like how many times to continue to talk. I'm done here. Go do the research for yourself. That's all it takes. Thank you for watching the video. I'm starting to stutter. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Stay tuned. Stay in the know. Stay aware. Stay safe. I'm out.
Progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order.
Davos, we know there's the big housing speech. What else can we anticipate?
There's also going to be some look at the new world order that President Trump is creating.
If it's okay with you, I'm going to rant right now, okay? I will never forget the lesson that I learned in my U.S. government class in 11th grade, Miss Martin's class. I will never forget this. She held up a $1 bill and she said, "What is this?" We said, $1. She said, "How much is this worth?" We said, $1. She said, "Why?" We said, "Well, because we have a system in place and each dollar is backed by gold." And she said, "No, it's not." She said, "This is worth $1 because we say it's worth $1 and we agree that it is worth $1. The moment we stop agreeing to that, it falls apart. It becomes worthless." I have never forgotten that lesson throughout my life. All of this is fake. It's not real. Everything is imaginary. Everything falls apart when you stop participating in it. Because nobody can play a game by themselves except solitaire. But that's boring. Nobody can play a game by themselves. Like, what is a billionaire? If money became worthless tomorrow, what is a billionaire? Nothing. They're nothing. No one in this world is more important than the next. Doesn't matter how much money, how much imaginary money you pretend to have, because we're all just pretending. This is pretend. It's not real. And it's our participation in it that creates our own hell. And that bothers me so much. And I really just want for us to stop pretending. We pretend like one class of people is more important than the next. That's not true. We pretend that one race of people is more important than the next. That's not true. We pretend. If it's okay with you,
you will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. Our immigration system does need to be fair if we want to maintain that binding contract that our politics is built on. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. You will not be able to.
I don't know how else to say this to you people at home. These are the last years of freedom. Our children are never going to experience what we experienced. We're going to have electric cars, which will be zone controlled, which will turn off if you go into the wrong zone or turn off on certain days of the week. We're going to have money, which they control completely and absolutely, CBDCs, which they can freeze at any moment or only allow you to spend it on certain things or only allow you to spend it in certain areas. This is the beginning of the absolute end. We're entering complete tyranny and slavery. Nobody seems to give a shit.
If you go to China, back in 2017, they already had facial recognition cameras there. So if you jaywalked in Shenzhen, they would immediately detect that and send you a notification, and they would deduct money from your, what they call WeChat account. They use two main apps, WeChat and Alipay. This is 4 years ago, so this is not like some sort of conspiracy theory. It's not something that's going to happen 10 years into the future. This happened pre-corona in China.
China's a bit mad. A lot of people actually don't know how far ahead they are with these things. Like the social credit score system isn't fully in place, and you gain points by doing X, Y, and C, but gaining points is an absolutely bizarre task. It takes so much effort, and it takes almost nothing to lose points, and then you won't be able to enter certain places, you won't be able to go certain places. It's absolutely insane.
And so this system in China that exists is extremely advanced. They can detect if it's a man or a woman. They can guess your age. They can detect what kind of car model it is. This is a sort of technology that we see in all these dystopian sort of films and whatever, and people keep putting it off and thinking that this is something that's going to happen later in my kids' lifetime or my grandkids. It's already here. And if this gets implemented anywhere, especially in a Western nation, it's not going away. Israel is already talking about the 4th shot. Then they're going to be going to herpes, and they're going to ask if you're gay. They're going to be asking if you ate 3 pizzas this week because it's unhealthy. If you buy certain books in certain countries, your country doesn't like you, will lose points in the social credit score system. So this is already the reality of the world in certain places, and we need to be aware of that if we don't want that or if we do. And to be perfectly honest, anybody who wants this vaccine passport, it's a misnomer. It's total control. Everything you do or don't do will be calculated to the point where if they can detect your GPS signal, if you have a phone on you, they can detect who you're hanging out with. Oh, you're hanging out with somebody that said something bad 9 years ago. Oh, you lose 2 points. This is what is going to come here because it's already there.
And we're doing that a little bit with contact tracing for COVID, aren't we? So that they can see where you're at.
The simple reality is that the technology that CSIS has and all these big tech corporations, they already know where you are. It's just that they don't want to shock the system too much and admit that they have it. Edward Snowden revealed all this back in 2013. He fled to Hong Kong. They wouldn't keep him there, so now he's in Russia. But the NSA has all of your information. They know your Google searches from like February 9th, 2004 in a bunker in Colorado.
Help me, Rhonda.
And if that is the vision of digital IDs in the West, I mean, goddamn, we're fucked. Unless we do something. And we can do something. We gotta build something new. We gotta build a better way. Because the truth is, this will happen. This is coming to the West. This is coming to your backyard. I don't think you can fight your government to not do this. I think the only way for us to not be victim to this agenda is to build a new system. It's to build a new civilization. It's to build a new way of living where everything is sovereign. We're talking sovereign electricity. We're talking sovereign food. We're talking sovereign water. Our own tech, our own internet, our own phones. I believe that is the extent that we need to push this to in order to be free completely from this agenda. But what do you think? Let me know below.
Today, most of the countries in the world are considering using CBDCs. And once this kind of power is unleashed, it may be nearly impossible to reverse it.
Wait, what are CBDCs?
Central bank digital currencies. Instead of being completely uncontrolled, this money is completely controlled.
Why would banks want to create their own digital money when they already control our paper money?
Because they can't control how you use your paper money. Once it leaves the bank, it becomes hard to trace and nearly impossible to control. CBDCs would allow the government to completely control the money, to spy on everything you buy. Imagine the government taxing you instantly, seizing your money whenever they feel like it. Say the wrong thing in a post, poof, you're a terrorist. And poof, no more money in your bank account.
So the latest in this dystopian outrage that is now all of China apparently is I once again cannot buy food. A couple days ago my uncle and my cousin helped me get a cell phone that is linked to a Chinese bank card so that I could buy anything. But now apparently it has been flagged for some reason and I have to pass facial recognition identity verification, which is insane because all I want to do is just spend my gift card balance on this debit card. So the latest, I can't believe I'm doing this. I have to open my mouth. Oh my God. Terrifying. And of course, because it was my cousin who set this up for me, I did not pass verification. I guess it's a good thing that the Chinese app is not racist. But now I once again can't buy anything.
They're going to try to implement a social credit score system, and your money is going to be tied. They'll have a centralized digital currency, and your money will be tied to your social credit score system, and you step out of line, you won't be able to buy things. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to do anything. They're going to try to keep you within a 15-minute radius of your home, and they're starting to do that in places.
Yeah,
all of it's real. And in China, the social credit score system is 100% real and implemented.
I'm hoping people wake up enough to at least slow it down. Because these people are pushing in a very obvious and very specific direction. They want digital currency, centralized digital currency that they control, and they want to get everybody on a social credit score system. They'll probably connect it to some sort of a vaccine app, or if you want to travel around, all they would need is another pandemic to try to push that shit through. And they're already talking about that. It's very spooky. The whole thing is so scary because it was effective. It was effective and very, very financially effective. I mean, they made a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And if they could do something similar again and then clamp down more on people, that's what scares me. This talk of centralized digital currency, that's what they have in China. If you fuck up in China and you get a bad social credit score because you tweeted something they didn't like, now you can't buy a plane ticket. Now you can't buy a car.
Yeah.
Now you can't get a loan. Now you can't do something. You step the fucking line, and people self-censor.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be a part of that. And now they got you.
Also, I forgot to add with the whole microchip thingamajiggy, where you would need it to buy, trade, or sell anything. That's insane. It literally says in the Bible, those who bear the mark of the beast won't be able to buy or trade. You're not seeing a correlation? It sounds crazy to me. By the way, supposedly if you get the mark of the beast, you are not getting into heaven. Religious or not, it's crazy how if you don't get a microchip implanted in you, you can't buy or trade anything. Or sell. The fuck is we talking about?
You guys, Apple has just released a digital ID for identification and US passports. Here we go. Now, reports say they will be merging their biometric security with encrypted ID storage and plans to replace your physical IDs across airports, apps, and businesses. Why don't I like this? They also said this is going to be used at over 250 TSA checkpoints across domestic airports for identity verification. Now, remember I told you guys about one of the richest men on earth, Larry Ellison, who owns TikTok and Oracle, and who's a big fan of digital IDs? Well, it seems like one big master plan between all the big tech companies. You have Microsoft dealing with OpenAI, OpenAI dealing with NVIDIA, NVIDIA dealing with Oracle, xAI dealing with NVIDIA, and not to mention OpenAI just did a $38 billion deal with Amazon for cloud storage. So the question is, what are they really planning? Well, I may have some answers. Could it be that they're following in the footsteps of China's Skynet, which is tied to digital IDs, a social credit score, and an AI surveillance system that they actually want to put on the moon? Skynet, huh? Why does this sound familiar? That's because it's the same name as the killer artificial intelligence in Terminator, Skynet. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. It's always in the movies. Make sure you guys go to my YouTube, Maverick Approach, where I do more breakdowns on this, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
And you're going to make that happen by blowing up a building?
The building is a symbol, as is the act of destroying it. Symbols are given power by people. Alone, a symbol is meaningless, but with enough people, blowing up a building can change the world.
I wish I believed that was possible. But every time I've seen this world change, it's always been for the worse.